When I was first diagnosed with the heart murmur, I saw my regular cardiologist. And I told him, I eat healthy, I exercise, I'm doing all these things that I think I'm supposed to be doing. And he said, "You're doing great." He said, "Keep doing them, but it's not going to matter."
Our guest is Cathy Tafel, a State Farm insurance agent, mother, grandmother, and lifelong adventurer. She spent decades staying active, but when life threw her a curveball last year, fatigue, breathlessness, and a serious heart diagnosis, she faced it with the same strength that's carried her throughout life's biggest challenges. Thank you so much, Cathy, for joining me.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm loving those earrings right now.
Oh, thanks. It was kind of a sad loss yesterday, though.
I was going to say, what are your thoughts on the Lions right now? You're rooting for them for the Super Bowl?
Oh, yes, I am. And I'm a season ticket holder. This is my first time this year, so this is going to be fun.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Taking the family?
No, well, unless they want to buy their own ticket.
Okay. Nothing's wrong with that. But that's exciting. Yeah, I love them. I was driving, and I'll be honest, I don't know much about football, right? And so I'm driving. I'm like, oh, so the Lions must play. There was this balloon outside someone's house, and then I saw the billboard, and I was just like, okay. And then eventually we watched the game. So
yeah, it was a sad game, but they tried.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to turn it off after a while.
I think I fell asleep. I don't know if you want to put that in there, but
It's okay. But thank you so much for joining me. I'm really excited about this conversation. I'll have to admit, when I got your bio, so anybody who's out there listening, sometimes I don't know the guest. I don't know the guest beforehand. This is our first time meeting, talking, and so when you sent your bio, I love that you put your age right away. No one else does that. And it was fascinating because over this weekend, I've been in this deep thought about age because I'm getting ready to turn 34. I'll put that out there. So I'm getting ready to turn another age. And I'm just wow, the time just goes by so
half
fast.
My age.
Yeah. So when you put it, I was thinking that. And I love the fact that you did it because I think sometimes women are ashamed to say that they're getting older. Mm-hmm. But it's you're either getting older or what's
the option?
Right. So I just wanted to say I love that you did that.
Oh,
and
thanks.
To me, it was honoring the time. That's what I got.
Yeah, well, both my parents died young. And so I look at it growing old is, now I just lost my word, a privilege.
It is.
Some people don't get that. They don't get to see this part of their life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. My grandmother, she passed to me at a young age. She was in her 60s. And so, and then just more people that throughout the years.
Right.
And it's you're just gone too soon. So,
but when I think about I'm approaching 70 in a few years, I'm oh my gosh.
You look good.
Thanks.
You definitely look good. And I'm so excited about this conversation. So I know that you wrote that you've led a very active life, camping, hiking, biking, so much. What motivated you? I would have to say, what motivated you to start your health journey only 14 years ago if you've been active your entire life almost?
Well, I was overweight and I wasn't happy. And so a friend invited me to a Zumba class.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with it. And so I started working out a few days a week. Pretty soon I'm going 4 or 5 days a week and doing Zumba and doing weights and strength training and different things. And I ended up losing 65, almost 70 pounds.
Wow.
During probably a good 5 to 6 year period. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I've kept it off.
That's awesome.
Yes.
And
and I feel so much better.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny you talk about that because in the first season of Healthier Me, all the conversations were surrounding weight loss and those things. But you touched on that, but that's not the reason why you're here.
Right.
There's a whole nother conversation that goes along with this. But I'll have to ask you, what were some of the biggest changes you made back then in terms of lifestyle and your mindset?
Eating healthy.
Yeah.
And I don't eat fat. I shouldn't say I don't eat fast food. It's very rare that I do, and I don't eat packaged foods. I think one of the big changes for me was realizing that these diet foods that are in the grocery store are not good for you. They're full of sodium, they're full of sugar, and they're, a lot of other things. But and then just making my own food at home and cooking again. Yeah.
Definitely. So I have to ask then, if the journey started 14 years ago, was it like at a younger age that you started to notice your weight changing and the feeling of not feeling happy?
I was in my right about 50, 52, something like that, when I realized I needed to make some changes.
Yeah, that's good. So I have to ask you, when did you first notice that something felt off with your health last year?
I want to say probably August, early September, into September. I just, I would go golfing or I'd come home and I'd have to nap. Or, just working at my desk. I have an office at home. So just working at my desk, by the end of the day, I'd have to take a 2-hour nap because I was tired.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, being a little bit out of breath on the golf course, walking, just to your ball and this and that. And it just nothing seemed right. It just seemed off. And I have had a heart murmur for a few years. And that, I guess, got worse. Sorry, I feel like I got something in my throat.
No problem. No problem. That is so funny you bring that up with the heart murmur, because I was wondering, and I just did a Google search, and I know that heart murmurs can be something present at birth and then something that can also develop over time. So was yours over time or at
I think
birth?
so. I think mine was over time because I don't remember as a teen or a young adult having a doctor listen to your heart and say, do you know you got a murmur? Yeah.
That's interesting. So once you were feeling the feels of like shortness of breath, what was the next step after that?
Well, I hadn't been to my cardiologist in a couple of years, just 2 years, but thought, maybe it's time I go back and get checked again just to make sure everything's okay from that standpoint. And that's what it was. My body just wasn't getting enough oxygen because that was the valve that pumps the oxygenated blood into your system.
Wow. And so this is fascinating to me because we had someone else on the show who also had a serious heart diagnosis. And my brain is saying, okay, they didn't see that 2 years prior. Like, how does this just happen in this short amount of time?
Yeah.
So
mine just started hardening. The valve itself was hardening over time. Okay. So in that 2-year period, it had just gotten a little worse. And it wasn't to a point where it was an emergency situation, but just a situation that needed to be dealt with.
And how did they deal with that?
Well, they started with, they did an echo on my heart. So that was what determined that, my valve had stenosis is what they call it, which is like a hardening. And so then a few months later, they had me do a heart cath. So they go up through the vein in the groin and just look at the heart, look at the valves, look at just to make sure there's no blockages.
Yeah.
So they knew that it's early in the next year, which was this year, that I would probably have the valve replacement. And I had to talk with a couple of heart surgeons and heart doctors, to determine, are they going to do what they call the TAVR, which is, going in and just doing it through the artery and doing it that way, or were they going to do an open heart? So we had to make those decisions and consult with different heart doctors or cardiologists on that. And at that point, then they said that I qualified to do the TAVR, which I think stands for transaortic valve replacement.
Yes.
Okay. I got that right. And for the audience, this is what it looks like, which to me is just amazing that they get this through an artery. But it looks like this, and it squishes down to something very, very small.
That is so
Yeah. And then they put a catheter in, and then they put it through the catheter and place it inside the current valve. So they don't really take the other valve out.
So much was said in that. That is...
So I tell everybody I got my crown because that's what it looks like.
It kind of looks like that. Oh, wow. I have to ask you, because that could be a heavy diagnosis, I'm sure, right?
It was.
So how did you react emotionally learning all of that information?
Well, the doctor, I had Dr. Cassis at my Michigan cardiology down on Washington Street in Saginaw. And he was just very upfront about this is what it's doing, this is what needs to be done, and reassuring. He was very reassuring that, I'm going to get my health back. And so I think, I was kind of shocked, but it was a relief to know that, okay, this is workable. This is going to be okay.
So from the moment that you were beginning the fatigue and taking naps, that was August, September. How long was that period before your surgery?
I didn't have my surgery till February.
Of 2025?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that's pretty quick, though.
Yeah. And it was interesting because they said, we want to do your surgery in February. And I'm like, okay, it's got to be the end of February. And they're like, why? And I said, well, my husband passed 3 years ago, the 1st of February, and I don't want to do it the 1st of February. Yeah,
wow.
so that was kind of a hard part, but yeah.
Yeah.
And they said, how about the end of February? I'm like, okay, I can deal with that.
Yeah. Wow. That's a lot to face on.
It was. And for my family, too. I have adult children and adult grandkids, and yeah, for all of us to think about those.
I have to ask you, with this heart diagnosis, was that something that was found in your family? Like, is this, I don't know. I don't know if it's a genetic
think it
thing.
is. I know my dad's mom had some heart issues, and she died because of that. But that was a long time ago, I think, even before they had all the technology that they have today. So that's the only person in my family that I know about.
So given that you began your health journey almost 14 years ago, was there anything that could point to why the valve was hardening? Was it due to your lifestyle before then? Like,
They never did say.
Okay.
So I really don't know. Yeah, because I'm not a smoker. I don't, I just don't know.
yeah. I always wonder that, like, is there something, someone out there can change in the event that this could happen in their life? Is there something that they could do right now that could change this,
Right. Well, and he did say that even if I changed, when I was first diagnosed with the heart murmur, I saw my regular cardiologist. And I told him, I eat healthy, I exercise, I'm doing all these things that I think I'm supposed to be doing. And he said, you're doing great. He said, keep doing them, but it's not going to matter. Yeah, he said, it is what it is at this point, and now we just have to monitor you so that if it does get worse, we know to deal with it. And he told me that, I want to say, at least 6 years ago.
Wow. This is interesting because I know people with like heart murmur issues, and you just wonder, like, what could I tell them? What advice could I give them?
Right.
And those things. But regardless, we should still eat healthy. That doesn't mean like eat whatever you want to.
Yes.
Still eat
Get
healthy.
rid of the fast food.
It can be so hard sometimes.
It is hard because I do have some favorites.
Yeah, same. They put that Chick-fil-A out in Saginaw.
No, actually, that's not one of my favorites.
No, okay. It's mine. So I have to ask you, with this heart diagnosis, I think I said before that we did have a previous guest on the show who had open heart surgery, and it had a big effect on his body. Like, he has to go through, I think, some more surgery just because of how hard it was on the rest of his body, his kidneys, and he kind of discussed that as well. What was the recovery like for you?
It's interesting because when I had the heart cath, which basically was the same procedure they did for my TAVR, I felt more sore and afterwards with that and it seemed like a bigger incision where they went through that than I did with my TAVR. And with the TAVR, I was on a lifting restriction of 10 pounds for about a week, and that was it.
And that was it, just 1 week.
and then I have to do and I'm still supposed to be doing more cardiac rehab.
Okay.
So I have like a Peloton bike at home. It's not a Peloton, but they're very similar. And so trying to ride that, remember to ride it 3 times a week because I'm so busy during the summer.
Yeah. Well, you're definitely a venturer, camping and hiking. So, I mean, that's
Yeah.
still doing some type of cardio, right?
I am. And
Okay.
and I live on 6 acres. So, and my driveway is 300 feet long. So just walking the trash to the curb.
Oh gosh, wow. But that's pretty good that you didn't it didn't take an effect on the entire body.
It did not. It did
Okay.
not. And I feel great. Yeah. Other than just a little bit, like if when I do stairs, I might still have a little bit of shortness of breath, but I can tell it's better. Mm-hmm. It gets better every day.
And so that was February was the surgery, and now we're into September. By the time this interview airs, it'll be a little bit later. But what's that, 6-7 months, I think?
Right.
Since the surgery.
Right.
That's pretty awesome that you've been able to recover at.
Yeah. And I would
much
say even
100%.
within a month, I felt 80% to 90% better within a month. Yeah.
Wow. How has your mindset changed since the surgery? Do you see life differently now?
I do. I see life a little differently. And it's funny because my daughter has tattoos and my grandsons have tattoos. And they're like, Nana, you should get a tattoo. And I'm like, I don't want a tattoo. But then when I took my Band-Aid off from one of I guess they did the camera through this vein here. Yeah, it's just crazy. When I took the Band-Aid off, there was a little heart tattoo where they had the incision.
Yeah.
And so I thought, maybe I'll get a little heart tattoo on my wrist to remind me to always be heart healthy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so now they're like, yeah, you got to get that tattoo. And I'm like, yeah, maybe. We'll see. I'm a chicken.
Oh, but it'll be a small one. So
It will
won't
be a
too
small
bad.
one. But I thought that was so neat when I took that Band-Aid off and saw that heart sitting there. Yeah.
It's like a memory or.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And I took a picture of it so that I could see it, and yeah.
Okay, let me know when you get it. I might have to get one too. So, how does active aging mean to you now at 66? What does that mean to you now?
Well, when I was in my 50s and I knew that I had to change, for me, it was all about quality of life. That as we age, the quality of life, I have a mother-in-law that's 90, and quality of life is so important if we want to keep doing what we're doing. And that was one of my big motivators, too, to make some changes. And I see now the benefits of that.
What's one of the benefits?
Just being able to still be active. I mean, when I camp, I pull my own travel trailer. I have a 24-foot travel trailer that I pull and put up and set up and do all of it.
By yourself?
By myself, well, with my cat, but she never complains. She's the best travel partner.
Wow.
Yeah, and if I wanted to keep camping, my husband and I camped probably close to 40 years. And if I wanted to keep camping, which I love to do, I needed to be able to do this myself and have the energy to do this.
Yeah. We were in our group when we were talking about developing this show, Healthier Me. It was those type of conversations that we wanted to know, like, how has your life changed? What has been the benefit? And that's beautiful that you're talking about that.
Yeah.
You knew you had to make this change.
I did. I wanted quality of life in my retirement ages. Yes.
And that can be hard because some people are interested in losing weight or interested in making change, but they never do it.
Right.
What do you think that, like, how were you just able to come to that? Have you always been that type of decisive person?
It's interesting because I'm a Libra and they say that Libras are not very decisive.
Well, we got to throw that stuff away then. Because you seem so sure.
Well, and the interesting thing is I have a really good friend who is a fitness fanatic, and Diane, you know who you are. She is a fitness fanatic, and she tried to get me involved in different aerobics and different things early on. And, until you're ready to do it and want to do it yourself, what other people say or ask you to do, it doesn't matter.
That is very true.
You have to be ready yourself and want to do it.
Yeah, that is so true. I have a relative and years, would say like, hey, what kind of workout plan do you do? They would ask me. And I'm like, it's just up to you. It's when you're ready to decide. I could give you every plan I do and I can tell you what I eat, but it really doesn't matter until you make the decision. And that is so true.
Yep. And I
what
did
you
a lot
said.
of walking back in those early days too, because we have that nice rail trail in Saginaw. So I walked that a lot. And I found too that it's funny because I would, if my hips started to bother me, I'd turn around and walk backwards. And I'd have these older ladies that I would pass on the rail trail often. And they're like, "You're the lady that walks backwards."
You're inspiring them.
I was. But, the interesting thing is too, it gave me a chance to be aware of my surroundings. So as I'm walking, I could just turn real quick, walk backwards, and keep walking, and I could see who's coming up behind me. Yeah, so when you're alone, sometimes you just have to be aware of your surroundings. Yeah.
This is so great.
Yeah.
So, what activities are you most excited about? So, is it the walking, the camping,
And golfing, and
golfing.
having that energy and the strength again, better strength for golfing. Yeah.
I haven't. I want to try golfing. I haven't tried it yet. I feel like it's weird. I'm just putting this out there, but it's very weird because like when I take a picture, like I have to look with my right eye when I'm looking out of a camera. But like if I'm at a shooting range, it's so like the way my body is and like when I'm swinging, it's just weird. So
I would think you would be a natural.
I'm not. I tried Top Golf and it was horrible. So maybe I need to get some more practice in. But
Well, and then you're tall, so I don't think I would use women's clubs because they're too short.
okay.
Yeah, so try some men's clubs. I shoot with men's clubs, and I like them better because I feel like I'm hunched over too much with women's clubs.
Got you. This is all helping me.
Yeah.
And I hope it's helping you guys out there as well. I'm loving this energy. This episode is brought to you by My Michigan Health, serving Saginaw and 25 other Michigan counties. With care across 85 specialties, their team delivers high-quality healthcare to more than 1 million residents. Learn more at mymichigan.org. So, you brought this up with your husband. I know you said you lost him in 2022 after 40 years. And that is a profound loss. And I'm just
Absolutely.
I don't mean to take this shift, but
Yeah.
we have to talk about it, right?
Right.
How has that experience shaped you and shaped your approach on health in your life?
Well, and I joined a widows group here within the last year. And it's interesting because some of the things we talk about, I'm like, yeah, I went through that. And they call it like even a widow or widower's fog, that even for that whole year afterwards, you're in a fog. You don't remember certain things. You don't. It's just really interesting. Yeah. And I probably wasn't, doing some of the things I needed to do during that time even.
What do you mean by that?
Just sitting around and just being, I don't want to say down because I'm not really a down person. And I don't like being in those dark places, so I'd have to bring myself out of it. But I wasn't as active, as I am now, even now again. It took me a year or two to get back to where I felt I was me again.
So, what kind of kept you during those hard moments?
Kids and family, friends.
How did you decide to join the widows group?
I had a friend ask me, and she says, come on out. Some of the other people that are there. And so I did, and great group of people, and I'm so glad I went.
What is that community like? As a kid, I lost my brother.
Okay.
And I used to think, like, even as a kid, like, oh, I wish there was something for my mom to be a part of. What has that support given you?
Just that support and the realization that you're not in this alone and that some of the things you're feeling or going through, other people do the same. Yeah, other people go through the same issues.
Another guest on the show said that, like, you're not the only one.
You're not the only one. Yeah. And so then we get together and we tell stories and we laugh and it's good because some of the things you bottle up and you keep inside. But when you're in group like that, you start to let some of that go and you start to talk about it because they understand it. Yeah.
It sounds like you've been able to really find community in various places from that group to being active still. So are you still like a part of like your Zumba classes and everything?
Since COVID and then Larry dying, I haven't really worked out like I should be. And so that is my goal this fall and winter, is to get back into it. And I typically didn't do a lot of it in the summer anyways, because I'm so busy during the summer. Yeah. But I'm also part of a service group, a Rotary group in Saginaw. So that was one of my saving graces during this too, because that I just got really, really more involved with that during that time frame, because it kept my mind off things and it gave me something else to focus on.
Yeah. It's beautiful. And I'm assuming that even like when you're camping, that those are like the moments where you can.
They're the hardest. Yep, they are. It's okay. It's okay. But they are, because and it's weird because I haven't said this out loud, but when I see other couples engaging at camp, playing games, playing cards, I miss that the most. I don't miss them bitching about how I park the camper, though, or where I put it. You know that, right, honey?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. But I'm sure it's still that piece of him with you.
Oh, it is. And I carry a tube of his ashes with me wherever I go, and so I sprinkle a little bit of them here and there, and places that we've been ourselves or places I think he might enjoy. I'm like, okay, here's a great view. You're going to like this one, and I'll sprinkle some ashes. And
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
To honor him.
I do. Yeah. So I didn't just spread his ashes in one location. He's everywhere. He's from Nebraska to Wyoming, and New Mexico. I pulled my travel trailer to New Mexico the year after he passed. And so I took a friend with me and my cat, and we went all the way out there to Albuquerque to see the balloon fiesta. Yeah.
I saw like the pictures on social media.
Yeah.
Of that.
Nice. It is awesome. Yeah. And it's just so weird how that came about, because it was the very next anniversary. Our wedding anniversary was the 30th of January, and he passed February 8th. So we had just had 40 years. So that next anniversary came up, and I'm just going through some dark holes, basically, like, I need a vacation. I need to go somewhere. And all of a sudden, Albuquerque, I was on Google, and Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta comes up, and I'm like, God, I've always wanted to do that. We talked about possibly doing that. I'm doing it. And so when I got on to go book, some reservations, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm 2 weeks late. I need to get this done. So yes, I was very decisive at that point. I'm like, I'm just doing it. Yeah. I'll figure out how I'm going to get there and who's going to go with me later on.
So has the decisiveness came over time for you?
No, I think, it's interesting because I'm a State Farm agent, but before I became an agent, I was in the claims department. Okay. And so I handled auto and then homeowner claims. And I had a boss at one point in time. I would always go to Ed and say, Ed, what do you think about this? And I'd show him pictures and, this is what I'm coming up with. What do you think? And he goes, Cathy, just make a decision. He said, don't be afraid to make a decision in life. He says, as long as you make it with the right heart and for the right reasons, he said, if something goes wrong, somebody can fix it. He said, but just don't be afraid to make a decision. And I think that always stuck with me.
That is good information.
Yeah, because there's always a way to fix something as long as it's, done in the right mind. Yeah.
That is so funny you bring that up. I was in this training session last week, and we were talking about different leaders and just the different styles. So you have the Democratic leader, the autocratic, and those versions. So with the autocratic one, that's the person who makes quick decisions. And even though it was the style of leadership that I didn't really like, that was a trait that I would like to have. I don't feel sometimes I make, quick decisions. And it sounds like right now you're since learning that piece of advice from him,
I'm better at making decisions.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
Yeah.
Now, if I want to buy a big ticket item, it might take me a month to research and Google and, check out everything, read all the reviews. And so sometimes there's certain things that I'm like, all right, just make a decision. Yeah.
I'm happy you were able to take that trip though.
Yeah, it was an awesome trip. It was an awesome trip. Yeah. And I did it. And I pulled the camper and I did it. Yeah.
I feel like he's just like looking down at you like,
Yeah.
that's my girl.
Yeah. Especially, there was a really bad construction zone we had to drive through where the highway split. And I ended up being in the left lane, so I had to go on the other side of the highway against traffic. And it had a cement wall. And they were doing the lane next to me, so there's a 3-foot drop off. And everything's been dug out, and there's all this machinery and stuff going on in the median area. And I'm pulling the camper, and I just kept telling myself, where you go, the trailer goes. Where you go, the trailer goes. And I was just like white knuckling it the whole time. And it was probably a good 5 miles that this construction zone was. So, and then my friend Jennifer that was with me, she's not saying anything. She's just not saying anything. And so I got through it. And as soon as I got over and we're clear and we're back where we need to be, I looked at her, and it was something I think that my husband just put in my head. And I put, nerves of steel, baby. Because that's exactly what he would have said to me.
My gosh.
And then we both just laughed, and she goes, man, I'm glad that's over. I said, me too.
That is so, I hate construction. Like Michigan, we have like 5 seasons, and one of them is construction. And I hate it. And I hate those, like, I've never been in that situation with the drop off, but the cement walls. Like,
I know. I hate them.
Myself.
I hate them. But I just kept saying, wherever you go, the trailer goes.
Yeah. Well, way to do it. You did it.
Yeah, I did it.
So, State Farm agent, how have you been able to balance your professional responsibilities with your personal health? I know you said you generally be at home or work at a desk. So how have you been able to balance that?
Well, I have a person that works for me who's been with me 23 years, and she is family. And so having that trust in that person and knowing that I can rely on that person the way I do, since COVID, and we had to shut down for a while. I moved my office at home, so I have a computer at home. I had a home office anyways, but I didn't really use it. My husband used it more than I did. Okay. And so since COVID, I realized how good that works. Because when I'm in the office, so we call it Jill's office, and then my office is at home. So when I'm in the office, Jill and I just talk all the time because we're friends, we're family, and we have all this history, and what's going on with you, and blah blah blah, and we don't get anything done. And so by me working more from home, we both get more done, and we both realize it.
That's funny you say that though, because like they want people to go back to the office because they don't think they're working at home. Right. But you're like the opposite.
But I think that person still has to be self-motivated to do their work when they're at home and not let I don't have little kids at home, so that's huge for me. Yeah. If I had little kids at home, it would be different. I'd be at the office.
Time for a break.
Time for a break.
That is true. Like you do. Next. Sometimes when you're at home, you're like, okay, I can go wash some clothes. I can do this. You know?
And I do. I'll do some laundry or make some sourdough bread or whatever, because I can hear the phone ring, and there's a certain ring. If Jill's calling me from the office to talk to me, there's a certain ring that my computer makes. Okay. If it's a customer calling in, it's a shorter ring, and I know Jill's got it.
So I have to ask you, I know you said you worked in claims, and now it's insurance, right?
Yes, all insurance, yes.
Okay. So how has that, or what is the connection now with clients, especially with them navigating like different parts of insurance? So is it life insurance that they're doing, or
I sell all kinds.
Okay.
So everything from Medicare to life to health, auto, home, commercial, just whatever's out there. Yes, we sell all of it through the office. Okay. And I just actually celebrated 45 years with State Farm.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I started as a secretary in their claims department, and then just kind of progressed through with different roles.
That's awesome. Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah, and at one point I was hired on an agency management team to train agents and their team members. And I'm out doing this, and I'm like, I can do this.
That's right.
And I applied, and I went through the training and everything and got an agency. So that was pretty cool.
That's awesome. So as an insurance agent, how do you connect now? So, because I was talking to a financial planner, and they were like, you need to get disability insurance. Like, what if this happens? And, when they tell you those different stories, it's like, okay, I need to get this thing. So are you able to share like different stories with your clients now to encourage them to get certain
You
insurances?
do. You learn, I think, through the years. Like now I have my own personal story with life insurance since Larry passed, and I wouldn't be able to still be in my house where I live, and we built this house together, and I love my house. I love where I live, and I couldn't continue to still be there had there not been some life insurance to help me through, some of this.
Yeah. Say something to the audience about that, because I still feel like people are not, they don't take that seriously.
They don't. And when I get sad when I see people that have to do a GoFundMe to help bury someone. I mean, it's sad enough when that person dies, and you shouldn't have to. You should be able to grieve and not worry about the financial side.
Yeah. What would you say to an individual out there who haven't purchased,
If you haven't
insurance?
purchased, at least look into it. Have a discussion with your agent. That's the best thing you can do, because in most cases it's cheaper than what you think. But the older you are, the more expensive it is. And it's amazing the number of people I have come to me and said, I was just diagnosed with cancer. Can I get life insurance? No, you can't. It's too late. Do it while you're healthy. Do it while you're young. And the price, you can lock in a price like that forever.
That is good advice right there. So definitely get some insurance.
Yes, it's so important. I mean, you think about kids, and do you want them to go to college? Do you want to be able to stay in the house that you had your kids in and that you've raised your kids in? And, because there's a lot of expenses that go with staying in a house.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I feel like these conversations need to be shared more. As someone who's my age, went to school together, and she lost her mom, and now, like, she started off in social work. Now she's like in insurance, and really sharing this message of get insured. Like,
Right.
Take care of yourself, take care of your family. So.
You have insurance. Well, you have to have insurance on your car. You have insurance on your house. Those are very, very important, but your life is very important.
Yeah.
Especially to the people you leave behind. It's not for you, it's for them.
Exactly. And talking about that, your children and grandchildren.
Yeah.
You said that they've been very supportive, and, especially with your recovery. So what lessons or values around health and resilience do you want to pass on to them?
Well, and I think just the way we live. Before Larry passed, my two grandsons in particular, they're 19 and now 23, they lost their other grandmother 2 months before Larry. They lost their uncle, who was like a father to them, 2 months after Larry. And so and then some part of that side of their family, they're very, I can't do this. I can't live without mom. I can't live without so-and-so. And I don't know what I'm going to do. And, so some of them are like that. And I want them to see that there's another way to grieve, and that there's another way to process death and to get through the things in life that we need to get through, but instead of just sitting there and wallowing in our despair. And I mean, you have to grieve, and everybody grieves different. I get that. But at some point, you got to put your big girl panties on and move on.
Yeah.
You just do.
Yeah.
Because, but like I said, I'm not a person to stay in a dark area and in that dark hole. And I've been there. And I just, I had to get myself out going, nope, you're going down that rabbit hole and you don't want to be there.
How does that mindset develop, though? How do you?
I think it's just I think it's just in me. I think it's just part of my personality. I really do. Because I know a lot of people struggle with depression and getting to that point and then having to try to get out of it. And I think it's all just part of personality and how you deal with it.
I agree, though. I'm the same. It's like yeah. You don't want to ruminate on the dark thoughts, because they will.
It's not a nice place.
Nope,
it's not.
And I love that you're showing them a different way, like you said, of how to grieve and how to stay active.
Right.
You've definitely done a lot since then. And I mean, even with your surgery, you could have allowed that to defeat you, but you didn't.
Right.
So that's what a way to show them.
And the kids have always camped with us and done different things. So I just want to show them that, and it's so funny because when they were younger, the youngest grandson got in the car one day. I picked him up from school, and he had won some kind of raffle at school, and he had this big orange pumpkin from Halloween time full of candy. And he goes, Nana, look, I know, it's all processed bullshit.
Oh my gosh. As he opens
He's just
one
like
up.
12 years old.
Oh my gosh.
And I said, it's okay, Alex. I said, just don't eat it all today.
It's so hard. You know,
Yeah.
Halloween is coming up soon.
But I said, all of us remember our grandparents for a certain thing.
Yeah.
My grandparents taught us about etiquette, especially at the dinner table. We used to call my grandma Emily Post, and they'd talk about etiquette. And I said, my grandkids are going to remember me. Don't eat that. That's processed bullshit. Sorry, if you need to use BS, there's the word BS.
Don't eat the processed foods out
Don't eat
there.
the processed food.
That is beautiful. I love the lessons and values that you're sharing with them.
Yeah.
So just
they're great kids.
looking forward, what are your goals now? Physically, emotionally, spiritually, what are your goals now?
That's a good question. I think my next real goal is retirement. Yep, that's
45 years. So what's retirement?
45 years. So a couple of years. That's what
Okay.
I have a date. It's in here, but it's just not public knowledge.
Okay. All right.
Yes. It's in there. So yeah, I just keep telling people a couple of years.
Yeah.
We're out there a couple of years.
Okay.
Yep.
And is there anything, I know you
I
tried
want to travel more.
travel more?
I do. I want to travel more.
What's the next spot?
I really want to do the East Coast trip.
Okay.
Yeah, go up to Maine and check out the national parks up that way and go to Boston. And yeah,
Oh, that'd be nice.
I really want to do. I've been out west. I've been, down to Florida and some of that. And I have a brother that lives in Florida and one that lives in Nebraska. So we've done some of those trips, went out to Yellowstone and through Wyoming and all, some of the really, Mount Rushmore and some of the really cool places out there you got to go.
I want to go there.
Yeah, there's some
haven't
very
been.
cool places.
I don't go too far. I mean, outside of like California, Vegas, but I do want to touch those like other areas that most people don't talk about,
Right. When I was in Claims, I got to go to California after the Northridge earthquake. So they would send people out to handle Claims, Hurricane Andrew. I was at Andrew for 6 weeks one time and 4 weeks another time. And so I got to see some of that devastation. And that's really what made me want to become an agent, was because I can help now in a different capacity.
That is so beautiful. My uncle does the claims work.
Oh, does he? Yes.
Yeah. So he's been out to various states. I can't remember what state he's in now, but it's fascinating.
It is.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
is.
that's-
When people come running out of their door because you're there to help and give you a hug, you feel so good about it. But yeah, so I was in California for a while for that and got to feel a big aftershock that I did not like because I was in a parking structure at the time and the whole thing was shaking. And I'm just like, I just got to get out of here.
Yeah. So where did you?
So I don't think I could live in California.
Where did you stay? Like my uncle does his camper, like when he does those type of
Okay.
claim work. So where were you staying? If you just
State Farm put us up in downtown LA at a
Okay.
hotel. I think we're at the Hyatt.
okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's definitely
They
heavy
would,
work.
and now they have what they call a national catastrophe team. So they have a team that's dedicated to just doing this. But
Okay.
back in the 90s, late 90s, stuff like that, that's when I was doing it. They would just pull from the ranks. They'd pull from the different claim offices. They'd take over a hotel and set up offices and computer rooms and all of this stuff just to be able to do that. Yeah, I mean, it was a great experience, but I could never live in California.
I have family up
I
there.
don't like when the earth shakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I've
No.
never experienced it. I don't ever want to experience
No, you don't.
that.
No,
Yeah,
it's a weird feeling.
I'm sure. So before we wrap up, for other women in their 60s facing any type of health issues or big life changes, what's the one piece of advice you would give them?
Pay attention to your bodies. I mean, we have to be our own health advocate. We have to pay attention to what's going on and not ignore it, because I've seen that with other people where they ignore something and then it's too late. So, they say early detection is the best, and it's true, I think, in everything that we go through.
Pay attention.
Pay attention to your body and ask. Don't be afraid to, get with your doctor and say, is this right? Is it normal? And if you still don't think it's right, keep looking.
Find a new doctor
Find a new
sometimes.
doctor, get another opinion.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The show is called Healthier Me. What does healthy mean to you today?
Being able to do what I want to do. Yep.
I like that.
And not really worrying about, can I do it? I have the mindset that, yeah, I can do it, because I know that I'm healthy and I know that I'm capable and I know that my body can handle it. Mm-hmm.
This is beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
No, seriously, thank you so much. I told you when I read your bio, I was like, honored the time. And I didn't know the story, and now I know a little bit more about you. And I just feel like you are really in that season of just honoring every piece of your life. And you're, like you said, doing what you want to do. I love that.
And sometimes I think I'm doing it for mom and dad because I'm like, hey, mom, check out this, check out that, and yeah, hopefully you're seeing it through my eyes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they're all just.
They do. Excuse me. I get a ton of signs from my husband, a ton. So I know that he's always hanging out. I'm surprised the lights aren't even blinking right now.
This is awesome, Cathy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.